As I woke up this morning, I've been itching to express this. It's almost like I got an epiphany. I've been searching for a deeper purpose in my life. First through startups, money, success, and then through art. Thinking that if I removed external validation and people pleasing completely from my life, maybe I would find it then. That would give me purpose and fulfillment to show up daily. But I've realized that what is powerful, beautiful, and ironically simple is the act of service. Service is a form of unconditional love. It is the act of taking action from unconditional love, whether for the work itself, as in the case of art, for yourself, maybe it's for your health, or for others. No strings attached, not doing it for reasons other than the service itself. And I've realized that it is this intent in all of our actions that gives us the satiating purpose in a life that we've been all searching for. So what is this act of service? It is the act of doing things for the sake of doing them with sincerity. Even if secondary goals are there, they are, secondary. So money is a goal for almost all of us. But money isn't an action, right? We have to take action or give an exchange of value to get money in return. And so the action itself is something else, and that's something we can devote our service to. Let's say you want to start a social media channel. Sure, you can follow trends, you can copy viral hooks, you can copy the best formats and contents and topics. But if you do that only for the goal of followership, that goal is then conditional. It is only worth it then if you have followers. And so when the hype is over or when things get shaky, so does your purpose and your sense of fulfillment and meaning. If progress is slow, you are filled with doubt. So the moment we act in service of our secondary goals, such as money, fame, or success, not only do we not take the best actions, we start living in the mind. We live in a state of cloudiness and fogginess and overthinking. And this blocks the best opportunities opening right around us. When we live in the mind, we are anxious, separated from life around us, and constantly fighting, rather than being integrated with the universe and living in flow. And we stay unfulfilled, drained, exhausted, wondering why we don't have the motivation or discipline just to grind it through. So I started a hair care brand a few years ago because I deeply cared about women who have curly hair and did not know how to style it, me being one of them. And I wanted to create clean, healthy products for our hair. And I deeply cared about this act of service, but not all my actions ended up supporting it. Very quickly after I started this from unconditional love, it became a very conditional thing. It became all about growth at all costs, scaling, viability. Let's first test the viability, and then we can work on service. And this just felt so exhausting, draining, uninspiring, and frankly, I just lost interest. And since then, I've been searching and searching, starting up in various fields, exploring art, dance, and other things, thinking maybe those are things that would give me meaning in life. Wondering why every time I started something, I lost interest. Why wasn't it enough? And then I noticed a pattern that I always started something out of care, concern, unconditional love, an act of service. But very soon after, it became a grind. It pushed for all the secondary goals rather than the reasons why I started it in the first place. I started my writing journey on another platform. And while I was so inspired to write and share what I had in mind, very quickly I became consumed by subscribers, lead magnets, growth of traffic, again to find myself back in the prison of the success trap. And now I'm constantly on the hamster wheel trying to push content, trying to get followers, rather than focusing on the act of service, which is to create out of unconditional love, to serve and to be devoted to that service. Through this relentless search for meaning that I decided to finally publish my personal journal, Notes to Self, which is also what this channel is about. To explore human thought patterns and emotions and get clarity for them for myself first, and then share that out of unconditional love to whoever this resonates with. Because money is the currency for the exchange of value, it can't be an act of service. The value that you provide can be an act of service, but money, fame, followers, success, all of that is secondary. It can come as a byproduct of devoted service. Doing my best with sincerity is different than doing it for the money. Even let's say if you directly deal with money, if you're a stock trader or if you're a crypto trader, you are daily working on improving your craft, your judgment, your intuition, and that is your service. So really what I've been searching for all along isn't necessarily all the different things to do, but it's rather doing everything I'm involved with a sense of unconditional service. This is how I can show up daily, devoted to service in all my actions. And in that case, mastery is then inevitable. And all my secondary goals are also then byproducts of mastery. This is perhaps what the concept of ikigai is. And I think I finally understood it. I don't think we demonize money. Money is essential to survive, thrive, and even provide the best service we possibly can. But when we look to scale or get in more money or more income, it still comes down to protecting that core service. In my consulting business, I'm also looking to scale and add more clients, but not at the cost of giving insincere efforts to my clients. I want to protect that sincerity and give that full service and dedication to each and every client I bring on. The intent is preserved and the act of service is still unconditional. And money, income, and growth become byproducts of that. So when we put emphasis on our secondary goals, such as money, success, fame, and then decide to go all in, that's where we lose devotion. And sure, maybe it can work in the short term and you can get money, you can get that growth. I've seen it personally in my life before, but it is deeply unfulfilling and it doesn't last very long. So my note to self is this: where I'm involved and committed, I give fully, with full sincerity. I devote to the service and I follow the nudges and see where life takes me. Ideally, yes, I do want money, success, fame, but as byproducts of giving unconditionally to my service. Abundance flows to those who act in abundance. Things work out when you're all in, plugged into the present moment, following a path laid out by your intuition. When we give fully, we live a deeply fulfilling life, one that is not tethered to external metrics out of our hands. Does this resonate? How do you find meaning in your life? Thank you for watching.